The film begins with a new student named Dae. He is actually a secret agent from North Korea, sent to carry out a specific mission while disguised as a student in South Korea to hide his true identity. When he sees the students running, he runs just like them to act like a normal student. He enters the classroom and introduces himself, but the students laugh at him because the name Dae is very old-fashioned. The teacher orders him to sit in the last empty chair in the class, so he goes to sit next to a student named Hyun, who is introverted and has no friends at all. However, it doesn't take long before bullies approach them and order Hyun to pay them money in exchange for protection, but she doesn't respond to them. The bullies harass Dae to see how they will deal with him later, but he pushes their hands away. Their leader, Enro, challenges Dae to a fight on the school roof. They all go up to the roof, and Enro wastes no time, immediately punching Dae in the face. Although Dae is bleeding, he feels no pain and remains steady in his place, refusing to hit Enro back so he won't get into trouble and blow his secret cover. One of the bullies searches Dae and finds a picture of him and his family in his wallet. Dae gets angry and takes the picture back because it is very precious to him. It's the only photo of his deceased father. It turns out that Dae's father was also a North Korean agent, but was killed during a mission. So Dae took over the mission in his father's place, while his sister is still alive. Currently, Dae is drying his hand, wishing he could hit the bullies, but he decides to endure them. Fortunately, the teacher intervenes and orders them back to class. The next day at school, the teacher tells the students he will hit anyone found with a phone, striking them with his cane as he usually does. He decides to punish the whole class because one student was late today, ordering everyone to stay after school to clean the windows. After the teacher leaves the classroom, Enro and his bully friends order all the students to leave after school, leaving Dae and Hyun to wipe the glass alone. Hyun begins to develop feelings for Dae. When Dae goes home, he receives a package from the organization he works for containing a phone and some photos. Over the phone, he is given the details of his mission, to kill a traitorous North Korean agent named Diaper. Diaper was a former agent of ours who killed our own operatives. This is the only photo we could snap of Diaper. You must find and kill him. Dae gets on his motorcycle and moves out. We learn that Diaper is a very skilled agent who carries out his killings in a very calculated and precise manner, leaving no trace behind. Dae currently goes to a shop run by a North Korean agent and gives him the known code between agents. The seller prints a paper for Dae with a number on it. After Dae calls the number, he reaches a baker who is also a North Korean agent. The baker gives him a cake, and from inside the cake, Dae pulls out a pistol. The next day he goes to a gym and immediately hits the gym owner without any introduction. The owner tries to hit him back, but Dae delivers quick, powerful strikes, bringing him to the ground in seconds. The owner asks, "Who are you?" But Dae ignores the question and asks for Diaper's location. When the gym owner refuses to answer, Dae shoots him in the leg and says, "This is your last chance. Speak so I can let you live." The owner tells him that a butcher saw Diaper before. The owner pretends he can't move and then hits Dae with a chair. So Dae hits him back so hard that he dies. This was the first time Dae had ever killed someone. He felt guilty and was upset with himself, but he suppressed the pain inside him. Afterward, he goes to school. At that time, the bullies are throwing trash at Hyun, bullying her and ordering her to put the trash in the bin, enjoying themselves as they harass her. Dae intervenes and helps Hyun clean up. The bullies mock them, thinking they are dating. Because of what Dae did, Hyun starts to like him even more. Later in science class, Dae was distracted, thinking about the crime he committed. The teacher asks him a question about the subject. Hyun wants to help him cheat, but Dae doesn't look at her and gives a perfect answer. All the students are surprised by Dae's brilliance. No one realized he was this smart. After school, Dae goes to the music room and sits at the piano, remembering when he used to sit next to his sister, Ailey, while she played the piano, and he would play with her. Hyun enters and interrupts his memories, apologizing for coming in suddenly. He tells her, "I was actually just leaving," and walks away. Hyun practices dancing alone, but her female classmates enter and mock her for dancing. Hyun was about to leave, but one girl stops her and says, "When I'm talking to you, don't just leave me and walk away." Dae hears the girls bothering Hyun. Later, Dae goes to the house where he lives with North Korean agents who pretend to be a family. Dae goes to the butcher and holds him at gunpoint to get information about Diaper. The butcher gives him a paper with the type and plate number of Diaper's car. The butcher tries to kill Dae, but fat chance. Dae fends off his attacks and then strangles him. He searches for Diaper's car number and successfully finds it, waiting for Diaper to appear and get into his car. Indeed, that happens. Dae watches him, pulls up next to him at a traffic light, and takes out his gun. But Diaper notices quickly and speeds off, pulling his own gun. Dai fires at the car first, then aims for the tires. Diaper crashes, and his car breaks down. Dai approaches him and could have killed him, but he can't do it now because people are filming. However, Diaper had memorized Dai's face. Afterward, the South Korean police decide to track the data of the motorcycle Dai was riding to find out who this person is. Dai returns to school, looks at the photo of his father and sister, and remembers when he and his sister were held in prison. The colonel had called Dai into his office and said, "If it weren't for your traitorous father, I would have been promoted by now. But I don't care if he was a traitor or not. If you and your sister want to leave prison and walk the same path together, there is only one way. You must become an agent for us." Indeed, Dai agreed to take the mission for the sake of his sister. In the present, he hears the bullies harassing Hyun, dragging her to the lab room and forcibly taking the money she saved from her work. She tries to get her money back to no avail, and they accidentally tear her clothes. Dai hears them and decides to barge into the lab, beating those bullies and giving them a lesson they won't forget, a severe beating, so they won't bother Hyun again, leaving the four of them lying on the ground. Thus, Dai saved Hyun, but she is absent from school the next day because she felt embarrassed when the bullies tore her clothes. Dai keeps looking at her empty chair, while Enro can no longer look Dai in the eye. The teacher checks on the students, and at the same time, Dai was distracted, thinking about Hyun. The teacher was about to hit him on the head, but Dai grabbed his hand firmly. He did this because he sensed danger. When he realizes it's the teacher, he lets go. The teacher felt deeply embarrassed, and because of what Dai did, he caught the attention of every student in the school. We see the bullies injured from Dai's beating, unable even to eat well. Enro vows that when he recovers, he will catch Dai and hit him. They are surprised when Dai comes to sit among them and asks, "Where does Hyun work?" Enro is terrified of him and cannot utter a word. After Dai finds out the location from them, he goes to the teacher he grabbed and asks to leave school early, and the teacher agrees. He goes to the restaurant where Hyun works, but the employee tells him that Hyun has resigned. Dai thinks he won't see Hyun again. After several days while returning from school, he meets Hyun, who has left school and started a new job at a place that teaches dance. It turns out Hyun's dream is to be a dancer, but she tells Dai, "I need a guardian's signature so the dance club will agree to hire me." She asks him to sign as if he were her older brother. Dai agrees and signs because Hyun's passion for art reminds him of his little sister who loved the piano. Dai wishes to finish this mission quickly so his sister can be released from prison in North Korea and they can be reunited. He feels happy when he sees a young boy playing with his sister under the rain. He and Hyun move together, and Dai was very kind to her. She thanks him for everything he does for her. They spend the whole day together, and Hyun feels happiness in her life for the first time in a long while. She tells him that her father and mother died, and she no longer has a family. On the other hand, Diaper was watching the family Dai lives with, believing they are Dai's real family. He finds out the mother works in a pharmacy. Diaper's men go to her at the pharmacy at night. She gets anxious and afraid of them, telling Diaper, "I have no loyalty to anyone. Let me live, and I will do whatever you want." Diaper orders her to tell him the location of the diamond bag. It turns out the conflict between Diaper and Dai is over this bag. The mother gives in and tells Diaper the bag is in her bedroom, giving him the secret code for the safe. Despite Diaper getting what he wanted, he kills her in cold blood. In the apartment above the pharmacy, her husband didn't feel what was happening below because he was wearing headphones. Diaper and his men storm his home and open the safe, which contains a large amount of money alongside the diamonds. Afterward, Diaper kills the father, and his men take the diamonds and money and leave, while Diaper sits down to wait for Dai. Indeed, after a little while, Dai arrives, enters the house, and sees the bodies. He realizes Diaper is there. The two immediately attack each other, and a violent, destructive fight breaks out between them. Diaper tries to get the upper hand, not knowing that Dai is well-trained in martial arts. They destroy the house as they fight. Diaper tries to trip him up, but Dai has a huge motivation to finish this mission successfully to reunite with his sister. So he fights with all his strength. When Diaper realizes it's a tough fight, he pulls his gun, but Dai gives him no chance. Grabbing a wire and strangling Diaper with it, Diaper pulls a knife and wounds him, but Dai blocks his attack with a chair, snatches the knife from him, stabs him, and kills him, successfully ending the fight in his favor. Dai is now covered in wounds. He sees the mother's body and feels guilty for her death. He realizes the police will notice the bodies and the destruction, so he must act to prevent his identity from being revealed. He decides to blow up the house in a certain way to make it look like an accident. He cuts the gas line in the house, puts the knife in the microwave, and leaves on his motorcycle. The knife creates a spark, the microwave explodes, and then the entire house catches fire. The next day, the police inspect the house thoroughly and find Day's name on a piece of his clothing. They manage to identify Day and discover he was disguised as a student at the school and then disappeared completely, realizing he is a North Korean agent. At this time, Day goes to the woman who sells food, who is also a North Korean agent. She is the last point he is supposed to go to after finishing his mission. Day says the password to her, so she knows he is an agent like her, and then he loses consciousness due to his injuries. But the woman takes care of him and provides him with food. The next day, Day helps her carry vegetables. He gets worried when a police car approaches, but the woman makes him act naturally. After the police car leaves, she tells him, "Your behavior will show that you are hiding something." She sits and talks with him, getting to know him better, and learns that he is 20 years old. She is surprised that a young boy like him works as a killer and a secret spy. Day believed that his mission was over and he would go home, but that doesn't happen. The next day, he receives a package from the North Korean government containing the details of his last mission to return the stolen diamonds. The colonel who freed Day calls him and says, "I guarantee that if you execute this mission, you will return to your sister. The organization is counting on you not to let us down." Day agrees without hesitation, not knowing that this mission would bring him to the brink of death. He prepares a pistol with a silencer. The organization sends him a video of his sister to motivate him, in which she says, "I heard you're coming back soon. I miss you so much, and I've prepared a gift you'll like." Day is happy with the video and sets off to the building where the diamonds are. He notices the building is guarded. The gang leader looks at the diamonds, valued at about $30 million. Day sneaks inside and kills 2 guards. The gang senses him and goes out to look for him, but Day kills 2 more. The gang leader wanted to escape, but Day throws a grenade at the place. However, one person survived and took the diamond bag to hide, but Day discovers his location. After completing the mission successfully, he goes to buy a gift for his sister and decides to buy another gift for the woman who made him food because she cared for him. She says to him, "My goodness, you have terrible taste." Day tells her, "I hope to see you in North Korea," but she says, "I won't leave my place here. When you return to your country, forget this job and live your life. Act your age." Day agrees with her words, bids her farewell, and leaves. He goes to say goodbye to Hyun before leaving the country, watching her as she dances. Day tells her, "I am leaving the country now and returning to my homeland to meet my sister." Hyun is deeply upset but hides her feelings, saying, "Be sure to call and check on me." Afterward, Day goes to the final meeting point and meets the captain, who will take him back to North Korea by boat. Day is overjoyed because he will finally reunite with his sister and have breakfast with her tomorrow morning. But suddenly, the captain stabs Day with a knife. Day is shocked and doesn't understand why he stabbed him. The captain tells him, "You are so naive. No agent returns to his country alive. They are all killed after they finish their missions." Day endures the pain, struggles, fights him, and kills the captain. He cries when he realizes the truth, that all agents are just ordinary people who can be sacrificed. He can't believe his loyalty to his country is returned this way. He concludes that his father wasn't killed for being a traitor. Rather, his father finished his mission and was preparing to return to his country. But the North Korean government was the one that killed him. At the same time, the city police uncover the agents who were working in the supermarket and the bakery and arrest them. Afterward, they go to arrest the old woman. At that same moment, Day was heading toward her, but he sees the police surrounding her from every direction. When she notices Day's presence, she shouts to him, "Run now!" The policeman wonders who she is talking to. Then the police kill her. Day starts running, and the policeman notices him and tries to catch him. But Day sets an ambush, holds him at gunpoint, stands behind him, and takes his weapon. The policeman tells him, "Your identity is exposed. You'd better surrender. Your country has abandoned you, so there's nothing you can do." But when the policeman looks behind him, he finds that Day has escaped. Day walks to Hyun's house. She gets worried when she sees him unconscious and bleeding, so she takes him into her house and treats his wound. She hears on the news that the police are looking for Day and that he was pretending to be a student, but is actually a spy. She is shocked by the news but decides not to report him to the police because she knows he is a good person. Day wakes up and tells her, "I shouldn't stay here," but she stops him and says, "I know the truth about you." He asks her, "Are you going to let me stay, then drug me and call the police?" She tells him, "I could never do that because we are friends." Indeed, Dai stays the night at her place. Before we continue, I think you forgot to hit the like button. Press like now, my friend, and subscribe now. The next morning, she goes to the supermarket, and it turns out the policeman is at the same supermarket. He asks the cashier if she has seen Dai or Hyan. The employee informs him that Hyan is there. The policeman comes to talk to her and says, "I know you and Dai were close at school." Hyan pretends she knows nothing and asks, "What exactly is going on?" He tells her, "Be honest with me. If you have any information, let me know." But she lies to him and says, "The last time I met him was 2 months ago." Afterwards, she runs to her house and covers Dai's motorcycle. Meanwhile, the North Korean government has brought Lee, Dai's sister, to South Korea. The colonel then calls Dai's phone and says, "I have come to South Korea, and I have your sister Lee with me." Dai is moved, and his heart aches for his sister. The colonel tells him, "I'll make a deal with you. Hand over the diamond bag, and I'll hand over your sister," informing him of the meeting place tomorrow. Dai freezes in place when he hears his sister is here, realizing this might be a trap. But the most important thing to him is getting his sister back. He thinks about exactly what he will do. The next day, Hyan wakes up to the sound of Dai's motorcycle as he moves out. She is worried about him and sees that he left her a note and a picture of him with his family. He tells her in the note to inform the police of the location where the deal will take place. Indeed, she calls the police, and they track Dai's movement on the motorcycle. Dai arrives at the garage and meets the colonel. At the same time, the police have arrived at the location. Dai asks the colonel to see his sister first, so the colonel points her out in the car. Dai cries when he sees her and pulls out the bag of diamonds. One of the colonel's men prepares to kill Dai, but a police officer kills that person first, saving Dai's life. The police arrive, and a shootout occurs at the scene. The glass of Lee's car breaks. Dai engages with the colonel, but one of the colonel's men drives off in the car with Lee. Dai tries to catch the car, but, of course, he cannot. It turns out the police have set an ambush. They stop the car and arrest Dai's sister. When Dai is reassured that she is safe, he is forced to run so the police won't arrest him. But the disasters do not end. At night, the colonel calls Dai and says, "I will keep targeting you as long as the diamonds are still with you. In the end, you and your sister will die," informing him that he has kidnapped Hyan. Dai is shocked and worried about her. The colonel tells him, "This is your last chance. Bring the diamonds or I will kill her," and hangs up. Afterward, Dai calls the policeman and asks to speak to his sister. The policeman agrees and hands her the phone. Dai checks on Lee and asks if she is injured. She says, "I'm fine." Dai apologizes to her for everything that's happening and tells her, "Wait a little longer and I'll come to save you." Then he speaks to the policeman and says, "I will do something specific tomorrow, and after that, I will come to surrender." Dai cries in the street for Hyan because she is in danger because of him, feeling exhausted because he is too young for all these hardships. He arrives at the place where Hyan is and calls the policeman's number so the police can track his phone and pinpoint his location. He enters the warehouse where the colonel's men are, and there is a large number of hired killers. The colonel says to him, "I knew you would follow your emotions and be forced to come." Dai scans the place with his eyes to memorize the entrances and exits. They allow him to look at Hyan. He pulls out the diamonds and throws them in the air, so everyone is distracted by them. Dai kills one of them, but unfortunately takes a bullet in his shoulder. He fires back, killing as many as he can. He enters the room where Hyan is and kills 3 people in less than a second, but unfortunately, their numbers were large. Dai throws a grenade at the gas pipes. A massive explosion occurs, and a large number of them die. He thinks he's finished with the gang, takes Hyan, and they move. But one of the hired killers trips him and stalls him. Dai orders her to run, and when she hears the police sirens, she rushes out to them. Dai shields himself with the body of a hired killer from the colonel's gunfire. The colonel was determined to kill him, shooting him in the stomach, and was about to finish him, but the policeman intervenes and orders him to drop his weapon. Dai performs a trick, raising his weapon at the policeman, then suddenly aims at the colonel and kills him. Dai had taken a bullet in the stomach from the colonel. The policeman supports him, and they exit together, but Dai collapses from the gunfire he was exposed to. The policeman moves him to transport him to the hospital, and Hyan presses on the wound so Dai can hold on until they reach the hospital. Dai wished to see his sister before he died, but unfortunately he cannot and passes away. Hyan cries over him, and Lei gets a feeling that her brother has died and cries for him as well. In the following scene, Hyan meets Lei and decides to get to know her. They become friends and walk together as she tells her about her school days with Daeong. And here we have reached the end of the episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive the latest videos.